Welcome back to CBS This Morning, Saturday. These images are from near the small town of Greenville, California, northeast of Sacramento.
Hello, today I present to you an extremely attractive application for music lovers. It's completely free. You can listen to music online or download unlimited music to use whenever you don't have internet. The powerful search function helps you find anything you want. Trust me. It's hard not to find what you're looking for because the search function is really powerful. Application download link is attached in the description of the video. I'm pretty sure you'll like it. Thanks.
No, they were shot on Tuesday. This is what the same town looks like a few days later, reduced to ash and smoldering ruins from the raging Dixie Fire. The wildfire is just one in a series of extreme weather events, from flooding in Germany to wildfires in Greece, that have occurred over the past few months. CBS News meteorologist and climate specialist Jeff Berardelli joins us to take a closer look now. Jeff, good morning once again.
Good morning, Jeff. You know, I've seen a lot of crazy weather in my career, but I cannot remember a time where there were so many extremes in so many parts of the world simultaneously. And experts say this is just the beginning. Flash floods level 1,000-year-old villages in Europe. Entire neighborhoods submerged in China. Raging wildfires incinerate millions of acres across the Mediterranean, Canada, and the Pacific Northwest. That's just a glimpse into what's already the most extreme summer in memory. Columbia University climate scientist Dr. Adam Sobel has made a career out of studying extreme weather.
The speed and frequency and intensity of extreme events has been startling at times and a little more than a little scary.
Scary even for a scientist intimately familiar with decade-long predictions of escalating extremes.
It feels like the reality is outpacing our expectations.
According to the UN, global climate disasters have nearly doubled since the 1980s. And in the U.S., billion-dollar weather disasters have increased by 5 times. So as we start to go from 1 degree of warming to 2 degrees of warming to 3 degrees of warming, the impacts on extreme weather aren't linear. They increase even faster, don't they?
Right. So water vapor, for example, increases exponentially with temperature.
And extra moisture means 100-year floods now happen every few years. In July, over 200 people were killed when 2 months of rain fell in just 2 days across Western Europe.
There's so many people dead.
A Belgium official described the floods as one of the greatest natural disasters our country has ever known. Earlier this week, monsoon mudslides wiped out a section of Interstate 70 in Colorado. Engineers said it was unlike anything they had ever seen before. A lot of our infrastructure was built for the 20th century. It's a new century. We have a new climate. Are things going to have to change?
Investments in infrastructure are going to increase, or else the infrastructure is just going to continue to be overwhelmed.
Invest is exactly what the $1 trillion infrastructure deal aims to do, with tens of billions targeted to make us resilient to coming climate catastrophes. Speaking of heat, in the Pacific Northwest, an early summer heat wave pushed temperatures to the brink of what's physically possible, killing nearly 1,000 people and setting the stage for a fierce fire season. Take the city of Lytton, Canada. They 3 days in a row broke their all-time record highs, 121 degrees. Next day, 90% of the town burns.
While we have always expected and predicted worse wildfires as a consequence of warming, how fast and how severely and how persistently it's happened over the last few years has been really shocking and disturbing.
The scale of this summer's fires across Canada and the western U.S. are already unprecedented. From above, satellites capture extreme fire behavior. Fires producing their own lightning storms, igniting new fires. And on the other side of the globe, a record-shattering heat wave is fueling massive fires across the Mediterranean. Would it be safe to say that this is not just a new normal for the future, but that new normal is going to continue to shift until we stop warming the planet?
Yeah, and I think that's incredibly important. This is a long-term increase, and it's going to keep going as long as we keep emitting carbon dioxide.
But for that reason, Sobel says ultimately we are in control of how bad it gets.
We're making decisions not just for ourselves, but for generations to come, and what they're going to face is going to be much more extreme than what we're seeing today.
Now, while we know that climate change will get worse before it gets better, we now have enough understanding to say with confidence that we can still avoid catastrophe. That's a main theme of the International Climate Science Report, the most important report we've had in several years, that is coming out on Monday.
What else can we expect from that report?
So there are some advances. So the science has advanced, so the language has advanced here, and it's the connection. A lot of it is the connection between climate change and extreme weather, like that crazy Pacific Northwest heat wave we saw, and also a section on tipping points. So what happens if the unfortunate, something like, let's say, an ice sheet were to collapse, what that means to us.
There was also a report that came out this week about the Gulf Stream.
Yeah, so this is a big report. So the Gulf Stream basically transports all this heat from the tropics to the poles, and it typically just kind of runs on its own. But now that Greenland is beginning to melt, it's disrupting that whole circulation. Now, we thought just a couple of years ago that if it were to collapse, because it's been slowing for quite a while, if it were to collapse, it would take centuries for it to happen. But this new report says that we're seeing warning signs that it's already becoming very unstable, and there is the chance that it could destabilize and collapse. And if that happens, it throws everything, all the weather patterns, completely off kilter. It's a big deal because about a quarter of the heat on Earth is redistributed through that one current in the Atlantic Ocean.
And yet you say we still have...
We still have time. Our hands are still on the wheel here, but we're running out of time. It's a big deal.
People have to be willing to do something to make change.
Absolutely.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much. Really important stuff there.